Okay, is this thing on? Okay, I think we're on. Okay, I know it's been another 2 weeks since I last uploaded. The same way the last video started out, I haven't uploaded in a little bit, but this time I actually have an explanation. So, basically, before I made this video, I was thinking about Call of Duty, and I was thinking about Black Ops 6 specifically. Unfortunately, I am just getting a little bit burned out of talking about Call of Duty, or not even just talking about it, but Black Ops in general. I've just been getting a little bit sick of playing over and over again, and this is the first time that I've actually started thinking about, am I going to get out of Call of Duty for the first time in, I think, a decade or more at this point of just playing Call of Duty every single year. And now I'm just kind of at a point where I kind of got bored. I kind of just started playing other games. So I'm going to continue uploading Call of Duty. I'm going to play Black Ops 6. But I don't think next year I'm going to be playing Call of Duty for most of the year anyway. 2025 is going to be a big year for gaming. So I'll be checking out the new games. I'll be playing Ghost of Tsushima 2. I'll be playing Grand Theft Auto 6 when that comes out, if it even comes out next year. Next year is going to be big for gaming, and I'm going to be stepping away from Call of Duty next year. But for this year, I will be doing Black Ops 6, and of course throughout its entire life cycle, and that might be it. So that's just my little explanation. Sorry for the little rant there. But today, we're going to talk about Warzonification, and that is part of the reason why I've been getting bored, is this idea of Warzonification, which basically means that everything in Warzone, everything has to look like Warzone. Every Call of Duty, every mode is starting to transform into Warzone itself. Now, of course, this isn't a new idea. Ever since Warzone dropped back in 2020, Call of Duty has been adding everything from its games into Warzone itself, so they pretty much look the same with the same weaponry, same movement systems and everything. That's all fine and dandy. But now that we're in zombie territory, and zombies is starting to look like a lot of Warzone, it does bring up the idea of Warzonification. Is Warzone being personified into zombies? Is zombies becoming a part of Warzone? And while it's not 100% true, obviously, because zombies still has its personality with Mauer Toin, and even Forsaken to an extent does have more than Warzone does, but it does have enough credence, I think, that Warzonification is pretty much a fact at this point. In 2024, if you look at zombies right now and you look at Warzone side by side, they look very similar. They play very similarly, which is the scariest thing of it all, is that if Haunted comes back for Call of Duty and we get a zombies event like we did back in, I think, 2021 or 2020 with the zombies event, they will look exactly the same side by side. And that's not a good thing, alright? That is not a good thing, because Warzone is its own thing. It should have been its own BR. It shouldn't be attached to Call of Duty. It should be its own BR, just so that this doesn't happen. But now we're here and we're stuck at this crossroad where if we add more things to Warzone, the other Call of Duties will suffer. And if we add more things to Call of Duty, Warzone's going to suffer because it's attached to Call of Duty, so you have to put them all together. And unfortunately, Zombies is a part of that as well. Zombies has always been given the scraps, the leftovers, and with Warzone being in the picture, it's getting even more scraps from Warzone, which explains why you see the armor system, the UI, the fucking HUD coming from Warzone into Zombies. You could see all that from the Warzonification. I use that word again because it is Warzone itself coming into these other modes like Zombies, where it's just the exact same thing with slightly tweaked mechanics. Obviously, point system, pack-a-punch. A lot of these things are unique to Zombies, so they'll always stay. But you can slowly see what I'm talking about when you look between HUDs from different games. It slowly becomes more like multiplayer, slowly becomes more like Warzone. And even in, 2021, 2022, when Zombies was at its lowest, it had nothing to separate itself from Warzone at that point, aside from the fact that there were zombies, and that's pretty much it, because the Zombies event was very short for Verdansk. And now that we're getting a round-based Zombies back, we can see that Warzonification has infected the round-based map formula by just how how similar it is. It is so similar, it's mind-boggling. It truly is. And I'm not saying this because of Liberty Falls, because Liberty Falls is a separate map experience from Terminus, but you get my point. The fact that everything is just starting to come back to Warzone, when people play it in, when people put in Terminus, or when people put in Cold War, when people put in the new Zombies experience, they always say the same things. Wow, this kind of looks like Warzone. I want to try. This kind of plays like Warzone. Exactly my point. The armor system, which was changed twice now actually. It was changed in Cold War and it was changed again in Black Ops 6, where now you manually put it like in Warzone, like in Modern Warfare. You have to manually put it yourself instead of it automatically doing it for you like Cold War did. And Cold War switched it from the previous Zombies experience where you had a shield that you could build and have on your back and repair with Carpenter or other various means. But now it's just the armor system straight from Warzone, ripped right out of there. And that's not the only thing as well. You know, you've got the exfil, you've got various other things coming from Warzone directly into Zombies. And I'm not going to say it's lazy because it factually isn't. It will work differently than it does in Warzone. So there is some modicum of effort here. And I don't want to insult anybody because it's obviously not necessarily all their fault. It is a lot of Activision and Infinity Ward shoving Warzone right up our asses. You know, they won't shut the fuck up about Warzone. That none of the modes can be personality besides Warzone. So it's not necessarily all Treyarch's fault or any of the zombie devs' fault. But it is a valid point regardless because you can clearly see a night and day difference from going back to old Zombies experience before Warzone released in 2020 to afterwards when it looks exactly like it with a very similar HUD and very similar UI and similar playstyle in some ways, in some manners as well. So it's just very similar and it is pretty mind-boggling to see how this happens so quickly. It is something that's been popping up on Reddit lately. I've been on the COD Zombies Reddit and on Twitter as well. It's been essentially a growing nag in the Zombies community, but I think I wanted to make this out because this is exactly what I'm talking about, and this is exactly what's getting me disinterested, is just the lack of distinction from Warzone and from multiplayer for Zombies is just borrowing those things and putting it into the mode over and over again. That just kind of removes any semblance of it being its own mode. Like, honestly, if this was just a side mode, for example, if we had Onslaught or Containment, anything like that, into Warzone, it would fit just fine. I don't think too many people would be confused by it, and that's why you see so many casuals from the multiplayer and Warzone spectrum trying out Zombies, is because of the fact that this Warzonification of modes into Zombies is appealing to the masses, and it works, obviously. But it does hurt a lot when you see the modes just kind of blend together. They just look so similar. They blend. It's so just average. Not average, but just boring. I don't want to say lazy, but it is just kind of mind-boggling that they're all meshing together to become one mode with sort of different things here and there. You have some different things here and there, but they all, at the end of the day, play similarly. Aside from the fact, obviously, that Zombies is going to be round-based this time around, finally, and not Outbreak-based or anything like that. And, of course, those modes themselves have differences from how Warzone plays, but it does look very similar, it acts very similar, and at the end of the day, I think it's just being pushed together too much, and I think that Infinity Ward or Activision, whoever's pushing the Warzone, needs to step back immediately. I know it's not Raven, because Raven doesn't seem to give a damn what they change in Warzone, so it can't be Raven. It must be Infinity Ward or someone at Activision who's pushing everything to be essentially a copy and paste for Warzone with some slight tinkered different things here and there that makes it easier for those Warzone players. And that's what kills it, because it just feels like you're appealing to them and not the zombie players. And fine, if you want to appeal for more people, that's fine. I mean, Black Ops 4 did it. You know, it had a tutorial mode. It had multiple maps, had difficulty settings. You know, it appealed for everybody. But you know, I'm not saying Black Ops 4 is the best zombies mode or anything. I'm just saying, you know, it did appeal to multiple masses just fine with multiple free game modes. We'll get into that in another video. But regardless, it just is the fact that Warzone is basically poisoning how Call of Duty creates its different modes, because they all have to act in accordance to Warzone, to appeal for Warzone, to look similar to Warzone, and to act just like Warzone. So those are my thoughts on Warzonification. I know I didn't really explain it as best as I could, but I just want to kind of vent out my thoughts on it, because it's really, really bugging the crap out of me that Warzone players have to be appealed to for Zombies, when Zombies has been a thing for over a decade at this point, and you can hop on the train at any time if you want to, and there's tutorial modes several times on how to play the mode, so I don't understand why it has to appeal to those players so much. And you can have it as its own separate thing too. You don't have to make Warzone a part of Call of Duty if it's just going to make the Call of Duty games suffer. So those are my thoughts, but let me know what you think about Warzonification, if it's truth or not, or if it's just the fact that they all look the same because of the Modern Warfare engine. If you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe. I could always use a new Dark Operator to the army. and share this video as well. I'd like to see other people's thoughts on this as well. I would like to see what you guys think about this. If you think Zombies is going in a bad direction because of the Warzone, or if Warzone is ruining Call of Duty, which I don't play enough Warzone to say if it is or not. I just know that it is very much affecting how they develop games, because they all look the fucking same. But thank you guys so much for watching. This is Dark Ops, signing off.